5 Mobile Security Tips for Oklahoma Lawyers.
Courtesy of EMSCO Solutions, IT Security Checklist for Oklahoma Law Firms.
Technology has arguably changed the way we live. It connects us to our friends, family, and colleagues, and accomplishes tasks in both innovative and efficient ways. These advantages, however, have their own inherent risks, especially for Oklahoma lawyers who use their smartphones and tablets for business. The primary concern is data theft. Even if you do not store client files on your mobile device, you put your client and your career at risk if you use it to access the firm's resources. All a cybercriminal needs to do is obtain your login credentials and the crisis begins. The potential for disaster is so great that the American Bar Association recently changed its model rules of professional conduct to require members to assess the risks of any technology they use to handle client data. Below is a list of 5 mobile security tips that will frustrate the efforts of most hackers and do damage control if your device is lost or stolen. Tip number 1. Install security software and keep it current. With malware showing up on smartphones and tablets, installing security software on your device is mandatory. All of the leading vendors have programs available for popular mobile devices. However, some law firms require all attorneys who access resources remotely to use a particular software, so check with a supervisor or office manager before installing anything. If there is no policy, Lookout is a top-rated free antivirus and security product for Android devices, and Apple has proprietary security features that come with the iOS system. Tip number 2. Set up remote wipe. Ensure that you can remotely wipe your smartphone in the event it is lost or stolen. This feature allows you to send a command to erase information from the device. Remote wipe is included in the Find My iPhone feature for iPhones and iPads, and Lookout for Android systems has its own version. Tip number 3. Create a lock code. Every mobile device should have a lock code, which helps prevent unauthorized access to the information stored on it. To make it difficult for criminals to crack, create a code that is longer than the usual 4-digit PIN. If you use an iPhone, you will need to turn off the simple passcode feature. This is especially important for Apple users because certain software can break through 4-digit PINs in minutes. Tip number 4. Check an app's privacy settings before installing it. Have you ever noticed that some apps request your location or access your photos, texts, and other details? If there's no valid reason for them to need that information, deny access to minimize the risk of future problems. Tip number 5. Avoid suspicious Wi-Fi networks. This data trap is becoming more common. A cybercriminal creates a Wi-Fi network that resembles the name of a coffee shop or other local business that offers free internet access to its customers and uses it to steal information from those who log on to the network. Unless you know and trust the Wi-Fi source, stay away. Bottom line, even if you do not actively store client data on your mobile device, be aware that something so innocuous as opening and reading a confidential document could result in the contents being written to your phone or tablet without your knowledge. If you follow the mobile security tips listed in this article, you'll have taken reasonable precautions to protect your data. There's always a risk, but you've done your due diligence. Does your law firm have a mobile security policy in place? In your opinion, how successful is it? Let us know your thoughts in the comments box below. To follow up on the tips introduced in this article, download your complimentary IT security checklist for Oklahoma law firms while it's still available.
You can download a copy of this checklist while it's still available at itsecurityforokclawyers.com. Thanks so much for stopping by and tuning in today to learn all about
5 Mobile Security Tips for Oklahoma Lawyers.